Hi, and today we are off to Caravan City in Bristol. Now, it's become famous and not always for the right reasons. So let's go and have a look round.
Right there on top of the moon, we could sit and do nothing. I wish we were bold to just fly away. I don't wanna care, just be here and I'm good alone. I'll be okay, miss you like an old friend.
So we're off to the Downs in Bristol today. Now, I lived in Bristol for many years. In fact, for a while there, I lived less than a mile away from where we're actually going, which is a place that's been dubbed Caravan City. Now, the Downs itself was given to the people of Bristol many, many years ago. And so it has free parking at the moment for now. I'm pretty sure that that's under consultation and they may well put a stop to that in the future. But for now, it's a bit of a haven for a lot of people who find themselves there for one reason or another. Now, so when you actually look at it, it's sort of it's sort of an interesting concept because it's apparently got over 800 caravans there. Now, my guess is it's more because it certainly looks more, especially in Bristol as a whole. But that's the council figures, 800 or so. But that still makes it the largest population, caravan transient population in any city in the UK. Now, when you look at the sort of house figures on that, perhaps it makes a bit more sense as to why. When you think that the average house price in Bristol at the moment stands at around £384,000, the average salary is between 34 and 44,000. But when you look at the area that we're going to, so one of the main roads is a place called Parry's Road on the Downs. And if you go into Rightmove and you have a look at the average prices for that, it's over 1.1 million for a property in that area. So you can sort of understand how we kind of got to this situation. It's also interesting because, believe it or not, Bristol is where the motor caravan the caravan rather, for for hobbyists and for recreation was invented. So it was invented by a guy called William Gordon Staples at a factory in Easton. He had the idea in 1800s. I can't remember exactly what it was. I'll have a look. And yeah, so he went to this factory in Easton called the Bristol Wagon Company and asked them to make a recreational caravan for him. So Bristol was the very first place where these things came from.
Too scared now, thinking I should call up on her. I think it's hard how we always wait another day.
So is there known to be any trouble from the caravan community, or are they living there quite peacefully?
I honestly don't know. For the most part, my understanding is they're peaceful and they're just trying to get on with their lives, and they just happen to have found themselves in that situation. My understanding. I mean, I don't know because there are obviously complaints from the residents, and I would say genuine in some degree with regards to the the rubbish that's being left around, and I think there's talk of unsocial behaviour and things. But actual crime, my understanding is it's not actually that's not a major concern, because most of the people there, the vast majority, I believe, are just trying to get by and just trying to live. So yeah, I mean the main thing is the clash, I suppose, of society, of the people with certain economic statuses. So you've got, on the one hand, you've got people that are genuinely in need and have found themselves in a situation where they can't afford the rent in Bristol, they can't afford to buy, and so this is what's available to them. And then literally 100 yards out of their window, they're staring at £1 million+ houses of people that have whether they want to admit it or not, a life of privilege for the most part. And of course, the people looking at those £1 million houses are looking at the caravans and the bags of rubbish and the detritus that's sort of that's accumulated there and stuff. So you can see why there's that friction and why there's that why there's that sort of problem between them. But again, what's the answer? That's really the question, isn't it? Is what's the answer? How does that get resolved? Because I suspect for the most part, a lot of the people that are there, they're not there through choice. They're there through circumstance. And so what do? Do you just, if you move them on, where do they go?
How we watch things the kids walk away. Let's live down by the water, watch it come and go home.
How did you hear about this?
Well, interestingly, there's always been an element of people living in vans and caravans and things in Bristol. It's been around for a very long time, and there's a large community down by the big IKEA down in Eastville. It's been something that's been around for many, many years. However, the problem has recently been highlighted because of the expansion of the people up on the downs. They've, it's gone from a few to an awful lot, and it's gone past the point of people just being able to ignore it, because that's what used to happen. People would just sort of, walk past it and carry on with their day. But it's getting harder and harder to do that. So now it's hit national headlines. Now it's in all the main papers, and now it's become, a real talking point.
I wish we were bold to sail away. I just don't wanna care. Can you be here and I'm good alone? I'll be okay, miss you like an old friend. Too scared now, thinking I should call up.
So have they got any facilities? So what are they doing with emptying their toilets and things like that? Do you know?
Well, that's one of the concerns, isn't it? That's one of the issues that is being highlighted, is the health and safety, the sanitary elements, and so most of them won't have toilet facilities as we know it. I suspect a few will probably have sort of the camping porta potties, that sort of thing. But that's one of the complaints from the residents, is that there is human waste in the bushes and in the surrounding areas, which obviously is going to be a concern, and I wouldn't like to live like that either. So you can fully appreciate the residents' concerns around that. But on the other side of the coin, what do you do about it? If the council install lots of portaloos along that way as a way to try and sort of combat that, is that actually then going to be encouraging more people to come? And does that then create for want of a better word, a campsite? So I don't know. It's a real difficult issue, isn't it? But yeah, human waste and just waste in general, and the refuge that's created by living and stuff, where all that goes and how it's disposed of is a genuine concern. But as you look, see, there's.
Oh, I think I mentioned one big hole, but you were saying it's all scattered now.
No, they're sort of, there's more, they're more condensed and congregated around this area. But no, they're all over the downs now to a degree. But if you look, see, you can see all the caravans and all up there.
Yeah.
So if you, so we're starting to get to the sort of the bit where it's far more contained, if you will. But when you look, all the way around, we were seeing more and more vans that were clearly being lived. So we'll do a little lap. I mean, look at that, isn't that lovely? I'm not entirely sure. This is one way, I think, perhaps. Oh no, there's a van facing that way. So this is the main part of it, and you can understand why people are sort of upset, can't you, when you look at this. Just started to rain as we pulled up, but you can see there down the street, it's just this row of dingy caravans and vans and things, and there's a fair bit of mess around, but it's not as bad as you might think, to be honest with you. Credit where it's due, it's not awful. I mean, it's not good, don't get me wrong, there is rubbish and all about, but it's not absolutely piled sky high. So yeah, let's go and take a look round. This is one of the main streets. Now, all the way round, we saw lots and lots of vehicles that were parked up, and clearly a lot of them looked like they were lived in. But this seems to be a really one of the main spots for this, if you like. If you see over there in the distance, there's quite a few down that way. And as you went around the downs themselves, over there, there's a good few as well. But this is kind of the main length. There's this interesting mix as you walk along between completely broken down and battered caravans and some really nice motorhomes. So there's an eclectic mix along the route here. According to the sign, it is actually a restricted parking area. So it's really fascinating that, wherever people go and wherever they end up, they always try and sort of make the best of a situation, and you've got to admire the sort of tenacity of that. Hello. Have you come and say hello, have you? Hello. Yes, hello. Wow. Okay. Found a really pretty cat. I have to admit to being curious as to what that is. So we've got you got your Royal Caravans and stuff, but then there's this very small thing here, little door on it. I wonder if that's being used like a toilet block, or whether that's a small home for somebody. I really don't know. It's interesting. So we're just coming up to the crossroads now, and we have more vans down that way. We have more vans down that way. There's more again up along here, and then all the way down here as well. So there's a significant number of vans here. The council has quoted 800, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if it's far more than that once you actually take in, sort of all of Bristol, because we're in just one sort of small area on the downs here, and there's an awful lot, and of all different shapes and sizes as well. I mean, that's what's sort of fascinating about this, because there are definitely some, vans and caravans here that have seen better days and are absolutely on their last legs and clearly aren't going anywhere. But there's also some really, really plush motorhomes, very expensive motorhomes. And then there's also a lot of very well-built, self-built vans as well, ones that have taken a lot of care and attention and love. So it's not just a case of, just a bunch of caravans that are falling apart. There's actually all sorts up along here. I mean, you've got this big American RV style thing there, which I bet you is actually better than a lot of people's flats if you go in there. Obviously they got the Barbie and stuff outside, very, very nice. But yeah, there's lots of really nice ones. I mean, we're coming up to a really nice one now. Let me show you. I want to show you this one because it's a really nice van, but you can see here the distinction really clearly. So if you look on this side of the road, this is where you have the vans, this is where you have the caravans, this is where you have the people that are travelling and have arrived here. And then if I just span across literally 20 yards, you've got £1 million+ houses and things like that. And the only thing separating them is 20 foot of green. So anyway, we got this one here, which is absolutely a cracking build. I mean, I'm not sure what the inside looks like, but I bet it's fantastic. Some serious work has gone into that. It really has. What a great bit of kit. So you've got another lorry refurb there that's been done out. Getting back to your vans, there's another box truck. So there's quite a few of these box trucks about, and they're obviously understandable. They're a good size, aren't they? But so as I said, there's all kinds of stuff along here. It isn't just the broken down caravans. It's surprising just how many different types of vehicle are up here. And as to what the council are going to do about it, if anything, I don't know, because what can you do if you move them elsewhere? Where do they go? What do they do? What's next? So there's all kinds of trucks and camper vans and things along here, and It seems that they're here for all different kinds of reasons, not just because there's no sort of choice by the looks of it. I mean, a lot of these vans look fit to travel. So, obviously it's a lovely part of the world, but you can see why the residents would be, getting a little upset. But you can also see why it's a great place to be. So, but what's the answer? If the council move them on, where do they move them on to? Is that just, pushing the problem somewhere else? Does it actually solve anything? Greater minds than mine are going to have to figure that one out. But overall, it's interesting. I lived here in Bristol. I lived here for many, many years, and I spent a lot of time up on the Downs over that course of time. And of course, because it was given to the people of Bristol, there's rules and regulations around what the council can and can't do with regards to access to the public and stuff. But of course, way back in the 1800s, when they thought about that, they probably didn't think about the possibility that it would be a place for lots of caravans and campervans to park up. So it is an issue that we now face, and how we resolve it, I don't know. But actually, I've quite enjoyed walking around and seeing some of these amazing vans, if I'm being absolutely honest. I mean, obviously, perhaps the council could provide some basic services, bin collection, portaloos. I honestly, I don't know. Perhaps that's a start point. But some of the vans themselves are fantastic. And if you see your van in this, please do leave a comment, because some of them are great. So we're right by the suspension bridge now, which is just really a few hundred yards away from Caravan City and where everyone's pitched up. So this is one of the main points of tourist interest in the city itself. So we're at the edge of the Downs here, overlooking the gorge, and it is a splendid view.
Right there on top of the moon, we could sit and do nothing. I wish we were bold to just fly away. I don't want to care.
So I'm making my way back now to my van, and it's been a bit of an eye-opener. So guys, if you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, click the bell notification, all those good things, because it really sort of helps the channel to grow, and I'd appreciate it. So hopefully we'll see you on the next one.